It's always difficult to be the last speaker, so I know that you're tired. It was a long, intensive day. But as a scientist, I really would like to give you a lot of... oh, that's not my screen, by the way. Yeah, as a scientist, I would like to give you some outputs with which I met as researchers, because when people experience VR, they have questions. They have a lot of questions, and they constantly ask us, researchers, what's going to happen with your brain? What's going to happen with your body? Can kids watch VR? Can elderly watch VR? How long I can stand? They ask us, researchers. And that's kind of a problem and opportunity for us to collaborate between industries and academia. Yeah, and a lot of also questions about Big Brother, Black Mirror, and I would like to tell you that VR, AR technology is a great tool for a lot of things, and I will a little bit open the door for you how we researchers use VR. And what is interesting is that I have two backgrounds in my life. It's a technological world, and it is art world. I studied documentary in Los Angeles for 1 year, so I quite good understand both languages, creative industries and technology. Can I a little bit ask you who you are? How many of you work with the creative arts? Okay. How many of you work with the industries and technologies? Whoa, hi. Do we have scientists here? Okay. Okay, it's only one, looks like. And as a researcher, I constantly explore world, I constantly explore technologies, and what I found that we shouldn't think about technologies separately, AI, or VR, or blockchain, or robotics. If you look on the most complicated system in the world, our human body, that's how technology has to work, synchronously, organically, simultaneously. And VR in this technological body is kind of vision. But what is interesting, it's not only vision, it's also the shape enabler, how technologies looks like. I was really, really impressed when the first time watched how 5G looks like in HoloLens office in US. We don't see technologies. We believe in what we see. That's why it's so important to place visual component. That's why VR plays very important function in this technological body which happening today. Today, a lot of speakers told about their motivation from different prospects, from the business, from the art. I will tell you about my motivation using VR in my research, because VR is one of the tools I use in my PhD. First of all, we need to visualize better. We need some cases that doesn't work without volumetric visualization. If we come to neuroscience, when we talk with the real-time brain data, we need to explore signals in real time, and we need to see spherical video from the research. Or, for example, experience. By the way, it looks like a very fantastic world, but this is a virtual world fair in Los Angeles. Can you imagine that you can come and try any scenario of the world you want? We use it a lot in city planning, in urban design, when we try to visualize the future. As researchers, we work a lot with the future, 2020, 2030, 2040, different horizons. We need to show people how the future world will look like. And that's why VR is a powerful tool to experience different scenarios, not only see numbers. Interaction. I really like this game. This is a game from IBM where you can really train Watson to recognize your voice and play with stuff. First ever in history, we have a tool where we can interact freely. Human by design want to have freedom. Can you imagine how many centuries we came to theaters, cinemas, we consume passively information? Finally, now we can interact. When Facebook and the digital media opened the opportunity to put comments, it was first time in the media era where we could interact with the content. VR gives us more opportunity to interact with the content, interact with the people maybe who designed this case, and that's a great opportunity for us. We feel engaged, involved to the case, and that gives us feeling that I'm free, I can do so many things. Now you're not just led by storyline. It's not director who leads you. You can come in any corner you want and do whatever you want and spend how much time you want in different parts of the space. Feel. That's one of the most powerful things we can have in VR. Empathy, that's important. This case I tried in a Cannes Film Festival last year in Mauritius. It was first ever Oscar-nominated case, where you can really experience how migrants from Mexico feel, and when soldiers start to kill people, you really only one phrase I said to myself, this is just film, this is just film, this is just film, because my brain strongly believes in what I saw, strongly. And it's really difficult to understand. We work with the neuroscience as well, but it's so powerfully influenced on our brain activity and follows such higher emotions. And as scientists, we try to explore such cases not as entertainment, but as a research case to understand how our body works, how our brain works, and so on. But feeling is one of the most interesting components because it's so bad explored and explained in science. And that's why we put a lot of haptics and sensors to really understand better what's really going on with us in this technology. And honestly, I travel around the world, I meet a lot of experts, not so many research really done on this topic. How do we really feel, and what is the force and mechanism of this feeling design, feeling creation? Okay, some numbers. You all know these diagrams and so on. By the way, it was today. What I really like that it's 50-50. But in this diagram, I see another one, this one. And that's for me, VR. We need to combine two very different worlds, world of creative art and world of technology. And my task to improve this very slight number, because for me it's a bit shame that science and academia is so poorly presented on this map. Why we have money to invest to very nice visualization of advertisement, but we don't have money to visualize cancer research or something like this, what is really important. And I work with a lot of big companies to push VR to make science and research more visible. Some information about layers, because when we talk about VR, AR, definitely any solution has some layers. What we have today on the market, we have nice idea, great idea, brilliant idea, and we kind of visualize it. That's where market is today, right? I work with this scheme because I think that we need to have data, and we need to have sensors, and we need to have interaction, a plug-in system. Why? Still, VR, AR is a huge investment. It's not cheap experience. It really costs money, and sometimes it costs really big money. And it's happening that you design a great case, people try it, what's next? Not so much, right? It's wow effect, which finish quite soon. And without data, without opportunities to prolong this case, your case will just work really short time. And from my research, my main research is how to put data into VR, how to design architecture for VR, even not visual layer. Yeah, this is attractiveness. This is what can hook us for the moment, for some time. But what can make you come back to VR, virtual environment? Information and interaction and senses, but not visual object. You can watch film a lot of times if you really like this film, but you like this film because of information of this film, not because only visual effects, right? That's why we need to seriously think about how to prolong the lifespan of the cases we work with. For example, also about collaboration between different technologies. I really love this case. It's a case from General Electric called Predix platform. I tried several VR interactive projects, prototypes from their lab. Of course 5G, of course IoT, of course AI. Very heavy case. And today it was already mentioned that, yeah, we need to have 5G. I'm from Sweden, we have 5G, Ericsson. In my lab, I have 5G, first building with the 5G on board. So it's not even 2020, it's now. We have 5G and we have technologies to really process such heavy cases. It's not just visualization. It's an interactive platform for data manipulation and for operation, like a wind farm, this is a Hamburg case, gas turbine stations, aviation, and so on. So VR itself, it's enabler of a huge technology of industrial IoT, using 5G and so on. Or for example, this case, I used the picture from scattered New York City, but this is quite the same lady case from Norrköping. This is a home virtual assistant. Yes, Alexa is great, but I feel a bit stupid when I talk with small plastic, really. It's a bit confused me. When we really want to communicate more with humanoid-related prototypes, and VR, primarily mixed reality, it's more like projected-based or dev kit-made content. We want to see someone who gives us the data, virtual assistants. And that's really coming more and more in my lab. I design virtual assistant because, I mean, again, here VR or mixed reality is just enabler of AI. We just shape AI in the way we want to see it. Or for example, blockchain, of course. I love this case from MIT, made by some great business developers, students, by the way. All cases made by researchers, or in collaboration with researchers. What if we can design the world and start to trade in this world? Start to create a real estate application, design services and products, test them, pretest them, and see how they work. I mean, all of us have dreams, right? But not all of dreams we can really realize today. A lot of reasons, obstacles, problems, not in time. But what if we can really place our dreams, our ideas, to virtual platform and pretest them on the business level? And pretest them and try to, okay, I want to have, for example, I want to test idea of office in the forest, because I believe more in deurbanization. But of course, I cannot really do it like this. But what if I can build such service virtually? I can invite people to try. I can collect data from their interaction and pretest my idea virtually. It costs less than just really build it and fail. Material world costs more and more, and each mistake costs more and more, and that's about sustainability, by the way. This is my favorite case. I think one of the most complicated cases I ever tried. University of South California, 3 schools. School of Biology explored the cell. And they create a methodology where they explain organic principles, how cells function. This methodology was sent to School of Architecture. And they were asked, can you guys design the city according to these organic principles? Crazy idea. They did. Then they sent this document to School of Cinematic Art, the same University of South California. And they made the VR version. This world is Euclid geometry-based world. Nature is fractal geometry. And our brain behave in different ways in this type of world and organic world. And this is a research case I really like because it's first ever we can have opportunity to design completely new world, but not like a game, but something where we can explore us, how we feel in this new type of world. Not to entertain, but to understand our being. And that's, I think, I really follow this case. By the way, all the cases I showed are the cases from my festival, VRCFest lineup this year, and all cases made by researchers. Of course, science. Danish case Lobster, 142 virtual laboratories to do different cases. I did a case about, I analyzed blood DNA test. It's so great because, again, VR is just an enabler of a huge database. A lot of data just visualized in a new lab, in a new way. Accessibility, we mentioned a lot of time. How many of us can really have access to a lab like this? Now, just you can do it easily even at home. Okay, buildings. That's more about my PhD project. But before, if we talk about new era of VR, which started with a huge investment from Mark Zuckerberg to Oculus. Okay, HR, hardware happened. Yes, no, yes, no, yes. Then we start to add Unity, Unreal Engine start to work really hard and grow super fast to give us tools to really build things. Then architectures comes with the BIM and with the 3D models mentality, and they start to design a lot of cases using 3D mentality. Only now data is happening. Only this year we start to have rich cases related with the real data application. It's a question of time. When you have a critical mass of data, you can start to apply machine learning. And by application of machine learning, you can, of course, come to AI. And then, when you have enough trained machine learning, you can start to talk about cognitive VR. What is interesting, how many of you understand the difference between AI and cognitive terminology? Can you explain? Yeah? Yes. Okay, I will not. But idea that historically, cognitive, it's a term related to human. What means that we try to make machines be more natural connected with human. We try to make AR, VR not just part of technological world. We try to transform it to our human being mentality, human being algorithms, and make it more like biological, more connected with us naturally. And that's where, as a researcher, I see we are going. Okay, buildings. Let's start stage by stage. Of course, all of us know about the 2 simple services we had since 2014, Pre-visualization and demonstration. Again, for me, this case is just once to show, sell apartment, and that is too heavy investment. That's my conclusion. Okay, we have more software, we can add some data, some more information, but still, it's just informative demonstration. It's still not a huge step forward. We still show things, but it's not so understandable what's next with this. IKEA, I think, one of the first companies who really start heavily invest to AI in VR, AR. I know several research groups working with IKEA, and what they're doing is really crazy. It's not about just giving you information, it's about adapt virtual environment for you, your hate, your preferences. I mean, you start to interact with environment and environment react. We call it responsive environment. And that's impossible without data application. Impossible without data application. When I opened the code written for this case, I was a bit shocked, to be honest. It's heavily data science. In VR case, data science. A lot of data science. Okay, but then people, when they start to interact with such cases, they found, okay, I'm so alone. A lot of conversations about loneliness in VR. Give social cases. Give to people opportunity to interact. Give them more tools, because it's not enough just to see or to understand better. People want to have more services in virtual reality. They want to have more opportunities to do something, to create something. Coming back to the feeling with the freedom, we want to have more things to really experience and be sure that I'm doing this. They're not just show me something new. I want to do something, I want to build something, I want to change something, I want to be part of the co-creation process. That's what end users want. By the way, why I'm so kind of confidently talk about end users, I work for the last 2 years, I interacted with 10,000 people and tried different types of cases to understand their brain activity and so on. 10,000 users were explored in our labs. That's quite enough to really start to conclude some things. But then we came back to what I also call cognitive, closer to cognitive. We need to have more human involvement, human to human. Not only human to machine, but human to human. And that's where we need to add social services, virtual offices, virtual travel, virtual assistancy, virtual conferences. That's what people want. When we analyze with MIT Neuroscience Gabriel Lab, we analyze how different cases with social application without work with our brain. Our brain feel a bit depressed when you are so immersed. Everyone talks immersive technologies, that's good. But it's a question of time when you start to feel very lonely in this case. And that's our brain needs some connection with other people. Because also one of the research also from MIT, where they explore that our brain feel unsafe when you are too long alone. You start to ask, okay, I am alone, okay, do I have people? Brain really interprets a virtual environment in a very new way, in a very interesting way. And we, I think, need to understand how our brain reacts to information. And our brain asks, bring people, please bring people. I want to have communication. Okay, coming to what I'm doing in my PhD, I think it's quite an interesting case to share, because all these cases were from some companies. Some of them I know, some of them I don't. But this is my case. I work with what's called living laboratory in Sweden, in my campus. So construction company built a huge campus, and the first floor is a living laboratory. That means people live there, and we explore them. And we test different services and products. And I found that some products and services I cannot test now, but I want to do research now. And I made complete mirror of my one of my apartment in virtual reality here on the basement. And in HTC Vive, I can just have the same room, which can deeply connected with all sensors, all data, users' data. We have permission to collect any data we need for research purposes. What means that we create a virtual twin, complete virtual twin of one of the room. And we explore different services there. First, main service I found very interesting, and I really don't know why companies today don't really do it. We all talk about new products and services. But it's really, when I check the index of implementation new products and services, it's 5 to 15. Real products came to the market. The rest just never reach it. But it doesn't mean that they're bad. It's just a problem that some services didn't test in the right way. And in my lab, for example, in this year, we have 135 applications to test different products and services. And instead of making a decision by myself, I invite users to virtual lab. I ask them to play 20 minutes game, kind of live in your future home. And we collect data from each interaction. We record where they spend more time, where they really had emotional, kind of high emotional intelligence, and they really felt so good. We test different kind of services virtually, pretest them. And then we have a data which can tell us, okay, this 20 services people really love. Why I think it's important to involve people, users, to the process of making decisions. Because when this user in the end will not like your service, user will blame you. When you invite user together design the future home, it was mutual decision. Now responsibility is lower, so you did this together. And I think it's really important to co-create together our future homes and our future environments, because sometimes we think that we're experts, we know everything, but we don't. And sometimes we just need to invite people just to make decisions together. It's so natural, because we try to help them, but let's invite them to do it. We also did a case with the kids. We tried to invite kids to co-create future homes that they want. It was kind of garden, not real apartment. They all want plants. One also interesting thing that we need to, again, it's related to data. Today we have tools to collect a lot of data from the VR case. You all know about Unity, right? It's a game engine where we design VR, AR. How many of you know about Unity Analytics? Oh, few. Yeah, that's a great tool. Because games are so nice because every time we redefine them because they collect our data constantly. Every second you play in game, data is collected. Each interaction is data. Each movement is data. Each movement of your head is data. Each time you spend with the case is data. Sometimes just collecting the data from the VR case can give you a lot of understanding, okay, how people really interact with your environment. Of course, all these types of assistance, that's what we also test in our lab. And what is important, I think, and I place it in the end, we also kind of driven by this new technology. It's so exciting, it's so wow, but we know so little about this, to be honest, about virtual environment. Because we did a test with a different type of resolutions, how different types of resolutions influence on our brain. Oh my God, I think it's research on 10 years, because so many questions we raised, because in some cases brain reacts very positively on low poly, but very stressed with some kind of small changes in like to higher poly. And we are researchers today a bit shocked with the number of questions, unanswered questions. And this question related to us, human. And by the way, I just want to, if someone geeky here, how I build the connection with data. I use Bluemix, IBM Bluemix platform. So all sensors data, all users data, wearable data I send to the digital twin platform. It's a cloud-based architecture. And this cloud-based architecture connected with the Unity model. So I don't use Beam as a basement. I use only data from Revit and Beam as from the library. But I don't work with the Beam because I think it's too heavy to really work for VR. I use Unity. I have a light model, and I add data layers according to case I test. That's my way to do VR for architecture. And just, if you're curious more about geeky questions, just come to me and ask. By the way, Unity and IBM announced the official partnership 2 weeks ago. Woohoo! More AI in VR, by the way. Some fast conclusions. Think about data. Really, it's a huge potential for creating new services. Think about human-centered design. Because when we have VR, we are in the center of case. We place them in the center of universe. Create this universe for them, first of all. Storytelling and emotions. Don't ignore these elements which really you need to control. With the case from Inaritius, I was with a lady from Guardian. She called ambulance because she was so stressed. Sometimes we don't understand that we put people to uncomfortable, disturbing conditions. Sometimes not. But if you don't control emotions you design, you can have unexpected results in the end. And it's really important to use it as a mechanism, not as unpredictable consequences. Explore social services. People want to be connected with other people in VR. try to understand that VR is a media which could be easily connected with whatever you want. Now in my research, I plugged in 3 other researchers, and I, from my research lab, can easily enter the transportation lab, and then I can easily enter a virtual factory lab. So VR is a great media to connect different cases and create a journey between different environments, and that's really great. And please, use your imagination. It's really needed. And I would like to invite all of you to Stockholm. It's a free open event. We try to manifest openness and accessibility for research and science and knowledge. It's going to be in the Royal Institute of Technology. We have some great sponsors and partners. By the way, The Guardian and New York Times, they're the main media partners of our festival. Just welcome to Stockholm. It's going to be warm. Now it's a bit snowy and dark, but in May it's going to be great. It's weekend. And by the way, we're the first festival fully based on tokens. But we try to create knowledge-based tokens. And so we try to invite people to participate in different research cases and help researchers to do research. And by being active during the festival, we can earn a lot of knowledge-based tokens, which you then can exchange to smart products like courses, conferences, and so on. Thank you so much.